Yeah, man! Serious times down in Johannesburg. Watch the fire now! Listen! The horns! Oh, yeah. The stage was set, the lights were low for the big G20 show. Leaders coming from across the sea to talk about the world economy. Johannesburg was dressed to impress, ready to clean up the global mess. But before the first gavel could sound, a different kind of noise started going around. Now everybody talking about Cyril's big blunder. He lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. The Kineyansi politicians step up to the mic, spewing out words that nobody like. They open their mouths and the fire jump out, insulting America, scream and shout. They're telling tall tales, they're telling the lies, right there under the African skies. And the media catch it, they run with the ball, they amplify the noise until the whole thing fall apart. Talking about Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah. Watch the house of cards, they're tumbling over. Yeah, blow it down, what a mess. I look at the president sitting up high, I see that little twinkle in his eye. He cracking that smile, that devious grin, while the diplomatic ice is getting very thin. You think the eagle gonna take that heat? Nah, sir, they won't take a seat. No Uncle Sam at your Josie party. You chase them away, you're acting too hearty. It's Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah, yeah, they staying away America now come to Johannesburg today. You set the house on fire, man, what kind of plan? Cyril, wipe that smile off your face. It's a disgrace. No, sir. No, sir.
The White Army marches on. For decades in the uniform, he held the land so tight, defending freedom everywhere from morning into night. From Europe down to Africa, the Middle East and home. The colonel hung his boots up, thought he'd rest his weary bones. He looked upon the world today, the chaos and the noise, and saw the messy circus of the digital decoys. He couldn't sit in silence, no, he couldn't look away. He waited in the battle, ready for a brand new day. They tried to shut the signal down, the shadow and the band, but you cannot stop the spirit of a mission-driven man. Folks took notice of the voice, the clarity, the spark, and gathered round the fire. He lit inside
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Night Owls. This is Chris live in Central Pennsylvania. Quick sound check. Night Owls, this is Chris. Well, first off, we have a message from our sponsor. It's a quick message from our sponsor here for the program. Just stay tuned. I think you're going to enjoy this message. So here you go. I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. Well, that's from our sponsor, Wyatt Baby. The Wyatt Babe weighing in on the things tonight. How's it going, folks? Good to see you all once again. Let's see who's in the chat. We'll get into some news here. Breaking news, of course, earlier today, the United States seized a Russian-owned and Nigerian-operated Guyana and falsely flagged Venezuelan oil tanker in the Caribbean. 2 million barrels that thing was carrying recently to Cuba, and apparently has 1.1 million barrels on it today. A joint combined operation between the U.S. Coast Guard and the raiders from the Marine Special Forces did a boarding operation, rappelling from Black Hawk or Seahawk helicopters onto the deck of this oil tanker, and they've now taken the skipper into custody. This story is changing as time progresses. More information coming out about it. This is not a direct attack on Venezuela, but rather an illicit ship operating on the high seas, criminally flying the flag of Guyana. If Guyana is upset, they want to pursue action against these criminals. This ship apparently is ultimately owned by Artemiev, a Russian sanctioned oligarch. Rudolph Skeppers, welcome to you. Devon Basson, Mandy van Rooyen, Karen Graham, Alabala is back again. Dirk Kutsi is here. Delmarie Mostart. Dogzilla is back. Welcome, Dogzilla. And then Ronel Cloty, Phoenix, AJ Quinn. And then who else we got there? Fonz is back. Welcome, Fonz. Work People. Who else we got here? Fonz, for you, this works out pretty well. This is like 8 o'clock for you. It's like prime time, man. This is better than watching Tucker Carlson in prime time. Johan Barnard, welcome to you. Jarethra, welcome. Elmarie Mayer, Petrus van der Linde, Christoph Seal, Karen Graham, Arnold Neveling, Gerrit Gillich, du alte Knabe, du. Gerrit, been busy and quiet lately. I saw you today earlier. Bitter Ender's back. Marcel, Sloth Puppy, there's an OG. More, there's an old name from the past, the blast from past. Sloth Puppy. Yep. Who else we got here? Excuse me, Malcolm Clody, another voice from the past there. Good to see you again. Always great when the OGs are here. Mandy from Royan, I already said. JP, welcome. Marcel. And who else is here? Looking neat. Oh, you like the haircut? You guys like the haircut? There you go. I have an important meeting on Friday, so I cleaned up a little bit here. Got the mustache off my upper lip and got the beard trimmed about half the distance. You saw earlier today it was down to here. It's been shrank up a little bit. The Wyatt Baby. Battery at 4%. Dang. Good Lord. That's a shame. Gina Molman. What's going on, Gina? You changed your avatar. Good to see you there. Xavier Grayling is here. Jerry, Idaho Garden Girl. Hey, always like the prepper crowd here with us. Martin Fundamava. Sanctioned ships should be seized. Yep. Why aren't some folks upset with upholding? I don't know why folks are upset with holding international law. It's a sanctioned ship. It's a ship that was illegally flying a guy. That alone, flying the flag of a country illegally shows that the ship is up to no good in committing criminal activity. Therefore, the mere fact that it flown a Guyana flag, even though it wasn't registered in Guyana, is a criminal act under international maritime law and should be seized by any naval vessels at sea. Yep. So anyone upset about this really doesn't understand the rule of law and really has no voice in this matter. Lisa Abbott, welcome to you. Faithful Farmers back from Vermont. Thank you. Good to see you there again. The Green Mountain State, one of my favorite places. If you just get rid of Ben and Jerry's and lunatics. Who else we got here? And Jackie Kane says, woke up at midnight with no electricity. Midnight shoppers needed some copper cables. Did they get it? Is that why you woke up? Or were you able to stop them? Yeah, this lawlessness in South Africa is really beyond the pale, folks. Really, really beyond the pale, folks. Anyway, I've had some people reach out to me recently, some additional, whoops, my camera is acting up, some additional sources, which is very helpful for some things. So in South Africa, a few different people have reached out to me of late about a couple different topics, and that may help illuminate some things developing in South Africa. So I'll do my best to keep you up to date on that. They have Trump arrangements. Of course they have Trump arrangements. If Joe Biden did this, they'd be hailing it because they're just a bunch of scumbags. Anyway, folks, you liking the microphone? A little pink color there. Go with my gray sweater here. And this, by the way, is a Twin Falls shirt. The Snake River Canyon there. Anyway, yeah, crazy stuff here. What's really going on? Web of international crime and terrorist funding exposed. Indeed, this is exactly what's happened here. The Iranians funding Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis and shipping oil on that vessel back and forth. The Cubans involved illicitly with Venezuelan. This is an international. Look, Venezuela has a fleet between 169 and 190 ships or something like that. 22 owned by the State Petroleum Company. This one here flagged illegally in Guyana, owned by Nigerians supposedly, but really owned by this Russian oligarch. It's crazy what's going on. Hey, Villa, what's going on? Yeah, from your valley. That is definitely a valley, man. That is a valley, all right. Woof. Man, Snake River Canyon, man. You look down that canyon, it's like, woof, that's crazy. 787 Dreamliners here. Phoenix just popped in. Welcome to you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, just complete lawlessness. This is what the world has descended into because there's no adults watching things. And now that we have adults in the Trump administration watching things, the left is going bat crap crazy because their feelings are hurt. You know, I already had leftists whine today about, the Americans confiscating oil. No, it's a ship that's committing crimes on the high seas. Somebody has to be responsible for that. There's no global maritime force. For centuries, the British fleet patrolled the global commons, but there's like 6 people in the British Navy now, and 3 of them are transgender, and 1 of them is busy at a gay nightclub. So they're not really able to do much in the British Navy to police the global sea lanes. That falls to the Americans because the Chinese are freeloaders. They won't do it, and if they did do it, they'd board ships illicitly, like Filipino, Vietnamese, Japanese, and Taiwanese. They would steal from them. So the only reliable partner in the world that can actually police the global commons is the United States Navy, and they do it quite well. Of course, the Caribbean and the Near Pacific are also policed by the U.S. Coast Guard. Yep. Yeah, that ship is flying a Guyana flag, which is an illegal act. They're not registered in Guyana. It's also been reflagged. The name has been changed twice. It's had 3 names in the past 3 years. Yep. Yeah, it feels like Tom Clancy's controlling the global narrative. That's pretty good. You're right. Tom Clancy couldn't write things this good, you know. I remember Clear and Present Danger. That was a pretty good movie. That's kind of what this reminds me of, Clear and Present Danger. Yep. What a movie that was. Not ships and trade, but even I know that falsely flying another country's flags and massive. No, exactly. It is a serious violation of international norms. And basically, by doing that, a ship is a pirate. It's basically become a pirate by falsely flagging another country's flag. You're not allowed to do that. And that's what pirates do. So the captain who did that is now hopefully incarcerated because he committed a criminal act under international norms and international agreements. So USA looking at extending GOA for 2 years, but going to exclude South Africa most probably. No, that's old news, Rudolph Skeppers. I don't know if someone's regurgitating that story. That's a story that South African media are lying about. That's not what the law says. The law hasn't got out of committee. It isn't on the floor. It isn't going anywhere. So that's, no. AGOA is not coming back anytime soon. You can count on that. It'll be sooner that 10,000 South Africans come over as refugees before you see AGOA restored. You're welcome, Rudolph. No, it's these stories get regurgitated and rehashed. So, for instance, this story that just came out about this anti-apartheid bill that Al Jamal's behind. Folks, look at the date on that. That's the day of the press release, 11 November 2025. This story has just become big news this week. Why? Because the South African media outlet reported on it for the first time this week. But this thing came out, this is a press release, but nobody pays attention to Al Jamal because there's a bunch of Islamic fanatic lunatics who have no power in South Africa, but they scream like a bunch of banshees. So no one paid attention to this when they issued it on November 11th. And none of the other political parties who supposedly go along with it, the ANC, the EFF, National Color Congress, Pan-African Congress, Rise Mzansi, Mkhonto weSizwe, the Good for Nothing Party, and Al Jamal, of course, the one that did it. None of these other parties, the other 7 parties, even mentioned this of any note, and it didn't get press coverage because they're ineffectual. But it now is an issue that's back in the press, and people are freaking out about it. But just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. These other parties don't really support it. Now, if they all did, they have sufficient votes to pass it in Parliament. Yes, Congress will break next week. There will be no sanctions bills in place, no review. But first off, they're not sanctions bills. Let's be clear about that. The bill that was introduced in the House last year, which has died, the bill that's introduced in the House this year, which has got out of committee, that's the only one out of committee by Ronnie Jackson. The bill that Senator Kennedy introduced has not gotten out of committee. None of those 3 bills will sanction South Africa. All of them call for a reassessment of the strategic relationship. After that study is done, and how long could that take? 30, 60, 90, 120 days? Who knows? Yes, Islamic extremists are a serious problem, but they'll have you convinced that Christian nationalists are a serious problem. They're not. They're not. I don't know a single country in the world where a country's safety, security, liberty, and freedom of expression are under threat by Christian nationalists, but I can point to dozens of countries already oppressed by Islamic fanatics, and I can talk to other countries that are suffering from it, like the United Kingdom. If anybody ever flies a Southern flag on a ship, it's a lie. Arrest them. Kasiki says, look very nice. Love the haircut. Yeah, it takes about 10 years off the old face there, doesn't it? But it exposes my well-furrowed brow. See, I have these lines because I'm very skeptical of what a lot of people say. Yes, skepticism causes lines. Wrinkles. Not really wrinkles. Those lines because my cranium has little divots in there because my brain has worked so hard it's pushed the brain has pushed the skull backwards. So besides drugs and oil, don't think Venezuela is anything else. No. Tighten the screws, regime change coming, the money will run out. Exactly right, Sean Nadir. There's nothing, Venezuela has nothing of any importance other than those two things. Xavier says crapcorns are always skeptical. I didn't know that, but I'm a Capricorn. If you believe in that astrology stuff, yes, that's my symbol. Apparently, I'm just barely in the Capricorn category, so. You may ask a question, Marcel, about refugees. This is the nighttime. It's not a news program. I will talk about news tonight, but this is kind of like our mini little cafe clutch. We'll all hang out, although I'm not allowed to drink Starbucks anymore, apparently. But we hang out and we chat, and if you got a question, feel free. It's not the news where you have to wait until I'm done, so you can ask that question anytime. Well, thank you, Sloth Puppy. It does look good. Okay. All right. So what's your question? Feel free to ask it. Fire away. I hope that's not what they told the Special Forces on the Skipper today. What an ironically named ship, the Skipper. And I find them guilty of violating maritime norms. Next case. Hear ye, all rise for the Honorable Wyatt. They say we must sweat the small things, reference any incoming wrinkles. Minnesota so cold there's ice everywhere. Ice, ice, baby. Stop and listen. Ice is here with a brand new invention. Love the haircut and some good music, yeah. What a way to start the day, Rena. You are correct. It is a good way to start the day. Good music. Chill clutch dirty slap kluth für uns. Interesting. Okay. Yes, no, Minnesota is so cold. Is there any veracity to the idea that refugee flights are only nonstop, or would there likely be flights with layovers? There is no such thing as a nonstop flight unless you're going to Atlanta. What are you talking about? First off, where is this coming from? When you guys give me these bizarre lunatical questions, you're not a lunatic, Marcel, but the question's lunatical. It's insane. Where are you getting this from? Some WhatsApp group? I need to know that. First off, what nonstop flight? The only nonstop flight to America from South Africa lands in Newark, United, or in Atlanta, Delta. That's it. Unless somebody invented a new flight this week. Excuse me. So almost nobody is going to go to Newark. Thank God. You don't want to live in Newark. Trust me. It's a crap hole. You might as well be Alexandra. You don't want to be in Newark. It's run by a bunch of leftist lunatics. Spartacus comes from there. You know, our Senator Spartacus, Cory Booker. Yeah, he's from Newark. He's a loser from Newark. So that's where United flight lands, is Newark. The Delta flight lands in Atlanta. There's a couple people wound up in Atlanta. We interviewed two of them this past week, a mother and her son. But there's no such thing as a direct flight. So where are you getting that from, The That would be helpful for me to understand the origin of that. Carlos Freda, what's going on, man? Lady Justice is blind. Well, in America, maybe not so much in South Africa. That's right. The judge has spoken, Sloth Puppy. We'll have to get used to the cold, not in our blood. Oh, Rena, you'll get used to it. Yeah, you'll get used to it. I mean, if the Somalis can survive Minnesota, South Africans can survive Minnesota. Trust me. You're a lot more hardy than the Somalis. They have no body fat, except for Ilion. She's got plenty of body fat in that ample ass of hers. Oh. Xavier had a terrible one yesterday. What? Evil and crime just constantly keep. Yeah. Carlos, I'm okay. I got my hair trimmed. I got my beard shortened up a little bit. Got a nice cut, and feeling a little bit younger. I had a busy day. Accomplished quite a bit. Not a perfect day, but I like accomplishing things. I set out to do things. I get them done. The one trouble I did have today is I'd signed up with a new phone provider, and they sent me a SIM card, and it's a lifetime guarantee of $29.95 a month. That's Pure Talk I was telling you about. The SIM card hasn't arrived. It hasn't arrived. So I called them up and spent a half hour on the phone and find out they canceled the order, shipped me a new one, but I still have the lifetime guarantee. So, man, crazy stuff. Yeah, Dirk, we put Charles on for Newspod a little bit. Extremely complimentary about the program in U.S. He may have had a few Yeah, I think he had a few to drink before he went on. Whereas with me, it was, he was out on the farm and it was okay. It wasn't great. So I'm still waiting for a response there. Oh, there it is, Marcel. No, WhatsApp groups just thinking that if that approach is perhaps an easier way for DHS to audit and control travel, minimize travel issues. No, gotcha. Okay, Marcel, it sounded like something came out of WhatsApp group. No, there are direct flights, but I mean, we're putting 2 people in Iowa. 1 person went to Maine. 4 people went to Florida yesterday. A couple went to Texas. 1 went to California. How do you have a direct flight for 1 person from South Africa? That's insane. They'll fly to the hub and then they'll go from there, and that's how it works. So I see what you're trying to get at, but you got to remember, America's a huge country. It's a continent. We go from East Coast to West Coast to 48 lower states. 22 of them now have South African refugees in them as of the end of November. 22 states have South African refugees. Remember how they tried to game this when, the only states will accept them are the red states. Look at this. They only went to North Carolina and to Texas. I'm like, shut up. That's not what it has to do. What happened is there was no money for the program. So the Trump administration, Department of Homeland Security, asked these states, listen, when bringing refugees over from South Africa, we only have a certain amount of money. Do you have state programs that can assist these people so we can get them settled? And 8 states stepped up and said, we'll do it. We'll help you. And it had nothing to do with whether they're red states or blue states. It had to do with competent administrations with budget surpluses or their budgets in order. And so those are the states that said they'd help. And so the media tried to game us. Oh, they're putting them all here. No, we put them where we absorb the capacity and the resource to handle them. Yeah, but I have seen a disturbing trend here in that there are some refugee assistance agencies that are saying they have no money. And if you have family over here and your family won't sponsor you, then you go to the back of the queue. I'm investigating that. That's not true. It can't be true. Well, tell your Ugandan friend to go back to Uganda. I live in Uganda. It's perfectly fine there. Why is he in America? Yeah, no, it's clear that Charles had a little bit. He was not drinking just a pure Coke. It might have been a little rum and Coke in there, a little Bacardi and Coke. Back when I would go to the clubs and I'd drink, I liked Bacardi and Coke. Good stuff. Yep, I can't imagine drinking it now, though. I haven't had liquor in a long time. You sent me a mail yesterday. About that? Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't answer it. Yeah, Colonel, the mass of logistics behind the scenes are unreal. These aren't DHL packages. These are real people, well-oiled machine. Speaking of which, what's that group called? Shoot, because they've been fighting with each other. Let me find it. The one with Nicole Feldman. What is that one called? God bless it. What do they call themselves? I'm trying to find it now. Anybody can remember off the top of your head, feel free to share it. Where are they at? Well, I'll just do it this way. This is one way to find it. Project X. Project X claims that they have got the first shipment of pets. Yeah, I saw something earlier. They claim they shipped the first pets over. I don't know how they did that or how it's involved, but they did it. Put me in their group a while back. But, here's a dog on the plane. Or is that in a car? Can't tell. That must be in the car. I see 3 dogs. There's no way that's on the plane. So someone's got 3 dogs. They look like beagles. But yeah, they say that they've got their first pets shipped over. So that was interesting. Where did it go? I know I saw that because I said congrats. Where's my comment at? What? This is all today. These people are insane. They write so many damn messages. How do you keep up with this? Okay. Okay, let's go backwards here. Where did I comment on this? Okay, now I can't find my message. If they sent that many messages, 12:56, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10:48. Did they delete my message? What's going on here? I know I wrote to them. Anyway, Project X said that they got their first pets over. Now I can't find my response. This is where it was. Well, that's the dog. They got a dog in crates. So here, let me hang on a second there. Okay, so I don't know if these pets are actually here, but I know they say they were. So come on. All right, I don't see my comment. It's like my comment got deleted. Why would they delete my comment? I congratulated them. That's a problem. That's weird. I know I responded to that comment, and I just found the spot where I responded, and my message isn't there. Why would my message be deleted? Maybe it's because it's on my phone. It doesn't show up here. Let me see. I don't think there's anything malicious there. Let me see if that's where it was. Maybe it's not showing up in my stuff over there. So, Project X. There it is. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I know I... Okay. 3 o'clock is the last time I responded. Okay. I know I responded to this damn thing. 12:56. No, my message is gone. What the hell? Why would they delete my message? Nope, my message is gone. It's completely deleted. There's where they came. And I put my message in there. Maybe they've duplicated the message. Let me see. Nope. So they deleted my message. That's strange. If there's any Project X people here, why you all delete my message? You asked me to be in that group and pay attention. So why would somebody delete my messages? All I said was congratulations. And my message got deleted. That doesn't engender confidence. It's not there. That's weird. Very strange. Anyway, a bit disappointed in that. There's no quarantine time, Del Marie. There's no quarantine time unless it's a bird. If it's a dog or cat, there's no quarantine to come back. Only in Hawaii do we have quarantine for pets. Yeah. Oh, well, except for birds. Yes, text about same size South Africa. Yep. Who fell victim? Okay. Yes, Aver, but I went back and my message deleted. Is anybody that's in Project X that saw me congratulate them earlier? It's just gone. Oh, just general mail. Okay, thank you for that, Marcel. I see that. Yeah, guys, I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved here. Just get one person over to the States takes an awful lot of stuff. That's what kills me about all this impatient stuff. It's absolutely insane. I heard a YouTuber yesterday telling people to get an international driver license. I obviously didn't listen to your intake. Yeah, well, again, I don't know who the YouTuber is, but clearly no idea what they're talking about. Is this a South African who's come over, or is this someone just jumping it? Again, South African driver's license are recognized. I mean, we have South Africans come over here and they rent cars. You can't rent a car without a valid driver's license. They don't have an international driver's license. Ask Arctic. Arctic seems to be sleeping on the job. He's disappeared the past few days. But Arctic is a South African who has come to the States, and, you don't need an international driver's license. You do have to get a resident driver's license in the state you're in within a specified period of time. Pennsylvania, I think it's 30 or 60 days. Most states, it's 30 or 60 days. Some states, it's 90 days. Anyway, you do have to do it. By the way, a clarification on something I said in one of my videos. So that wackadoodle lunatic who attacked me, I said something. So let's go back in time. Back in time to early this year when I said, because I read the law, and the law says that when you're a refugee, you have to wait 12 months, and then you apply for permanent residency. You apply for it. You don't get, and you can't do it before you've been here for 12 contiguous months. I said that, and that Shelley dipshit attacked me and said I was a liar and said you can apply for permanent residency immediately. And I said that's no, and she started all this shit, and all these people left my channel because they're idiots and they believe that fool who knows nothing. And you're gonna question my bona fides against some wackadoodle that lives in the middle of nowhere that's telling people stupid things. So I just gave up on that after the attacks and said, fine, say what you want to say. You can come here, you do this, you do that's fine. But the bottom line is, like I said, the law says, and today, Professor G wrote a video in support of my video saying that she's spreading misinformation because she is attacking me because I was spot on, correct what I said. But I did misstate something, and Professor G called me out on it. He's right to do it. In my haste to do that at 1 o'clock in the morning, make that video in response to this, I did say I used the wrong verb. I used the wrong verb. So I said that some people don't apply. I think I said some people don't apply. What I meant to talk about for green card status. After 12 months, some people don't do it. They don't revoke your refugee status. Some people don't get it. Well, I should have explained that better by saying that you're required to apply for it, but you don't get it for a period of time. My point I was trying to make is that everybody's refugee now who comes over after December 4th will have to renew their employment authorization document. Why? Because at 1 year, that's when you can first apply, and you're not going to get your green card overnight. Your green card, if you get it, is going to take time. Professor G looked up the statistics on that. It's anywhere from 8 to 22 months. That's up to 2 years. So if you come in the country as a refugee and you have to renew it at 18 months, he also had a piece that I didn't research that he says that you have to apply for your EAD 6 months before it expires. So if that's true, that means 1 year after you get here, you're going to have to, when you have to get your employment authorization document, you're going to have to apply, if he's correct, and I believe he is. That means at the 1 year point, roughly, or 1 year, 1 month, or 1 year, 2 months, whenever you get that EAD, that means that then you're going to have to apply after that year is up to continue working. You put the application, presumably, like I said, you'll be able to continue working as long as you put the renewal in there. But the thing he said is you're going to have to pay for the renewal. And I believe that to be true. We don't know, but that appears to be the case. But I said apply. Some people don't apply, and that's not what I meant to say. And he corrected me. So, again, if I get something wrong, which is very seldom, it wasn't a question of getting it wrong. It's a question of being tired and misstating something. And the video was already edited. I'm not going to take the video down. So, but the bottom line is it really doesn't matter. The point of the whole thing was that refugees come over now because of Trump's policy in the State Department to reduce the 5-year renewal for an EAD. It's now 18 months. Everyone's going to have to do it at least once. At least once. If you come in country and you get your EAD the day you arrive, and 12 months later you put your application in for your permanent residency, and you submit your, you're going to have to submit your renewal then because it's 6 months out, you are likely to get your permanent residency beyond 6 months. Now, if your permanent residency, your green card comes in, so let's pretend it's a green card, but it's a Starbucks card. It looks green. Let's say you have your green card. They're only called green because they used to be green decades ago. If you have your green card at 1 year and 5 months, then you don't have to worry about an EAD extension. Do you know why? Because you have a permanent residency. As I said on my previous broadcast, a permanent residency, a green card, is an authorization to live and to work in America. So you don't need an EAD. EAD is for people who aren't lawfully here as permanent residents. All right, like refugees, asylum seekers, temporary protected status, and things like that. So that's going to be almost impossible. Almost nobody's going to fall in that category where you have done everything and gotten your green card. And here's the reason why. I explained this also in that video. The USCIS has now been directed to review 233,000 refugee cases. Do you know how long it's going to take to revet those 233? They're going to have to hire outside investigators. There's no way they can do it. 233,000 people from the past 5 years. Do you know how long it takes to do one case? I mean, as a counterintelligence agent doing investigations, I have people, you get 4 months, 3 to 6 months, usually 4 months of timeline to do your background investigation in one location. That means that if a person lived in Texas, they lived in Germany, they lived in New York, then they send those files out to counterintelligence agents in those locations. And they must do their investigation. They each get 4 months. Then it all comes back in. Then the adjudicator looks at it. If there's no more questions, then they make a determination. If there's questions, they send more stuff back out to the right location. Do you imagine doing that 233,000 times over the next? Plus, they've got to do all the asylum cases. They have to be reviewed, 2.4 million. There's no way that they are going to, unless they keep only people on the EADs, there's no way that they're going to review these things. So it's just impossible. They're going to have to hire a lot of people. Yaku Kruger, yes, I have anecdotal evidence that some people will be coming as late as the 17th, but the break appears to be correct, that there will be a break for the holidays. Don't want to sound controversial, but all this admin stuff will sort itself out over time. Just follow the process. Well, let's use Lili Fondi Plaza's phrase. Trust the process. Trust the process. Yep. Had to get driver's license, went to Utah, had to get it within 6 months. That's very generous, Jules. 6 months? No, that's very generous. I had to get one within 30 days. Let me double check and see what the current Pennsylvania law is. How long? I got one typo there. That's not too bad. $60 days. Yep. You must get a Pennsylvania driver's license within 60 days of establishing residency, even if it's long after you've moved. Failing to do so means driving illegally, and you need to apply for a learner's permit. Yeah. If you go more than 60 days, you have to take a learner's permit, which means someone has to drive with you in Pennsylvania. So if I had left active duty and I neglected to get my driver's license changed over from Ohio to Pennsylvania, I would have had to take a learner's permit, which meant that I can't drive even though I'm I'm much older and I've got millions of miles under my belt. Yes. Yep. So if your driver's license expires or it's lost, you have to do that. Yep. you have to register your vehicle within 20 days. Title registration within 20 days after getting here. I did that the first week. Yeah, so I didn't know that was 20 days. Good thing I did it within 20 days. Otherwise, you pay huge fines. Yep. And you have to have Pennsylvania auto insurance from when you get here. But I already had a Pennsylvania policy through my USAA account, the military-affiliated insurance company. But I got my driver's license within the first month, and I took care of the registration like almost the day I got out. So it wasn't the day I got out because I was still in Japan, but as soon as I got back. Yep. 6 months is incredibly generous. It's normally 30 to 60 days. Yep. 60 days, Pennsylvania. Yep. Yeah. Now I'm going to check on Utah. Let me just see, because you said Utah 6 months. I'm curious now to see what the law actually is. Oh, yeah, a Utah license. Once you move to Utah, you must get a license. There's no grace period for out of state. You need to do this within a reasonable time. So maybe that's why I let you have 6 months. But there's, oh, here you go. Here he goes. You're considered a Utah resident if you establish a home, work there, or stay more than 6 months. That's why the 6 months. That's very generous. Let's see what Virginia says. Of course, Virginia's a state that because Virginia is a state that doesn't let radar detectors. Virginia is 60 days. Like I said, it's usually 30 to 60 days. Yeah, anyway, so there you go. Did you get an email, Colonel, I sent last weekend? No idea, Kasigi. Again, I mean, you guys are killing me with these emails. No. No, I see nothing from you, but then I not know what I'm looking for. And sending it to me, you're telling me you sent to me last weekend is not entirely helpful since I've received thousands of messages. Here you mentioned counterintelligence. How is the South African nincompoop wanting intelligence officers to abide by the law? What a joke. And now the cancer wants companies to. Yeah. First thing will blow the minds of refugees will be getting your driver's license printed while you wait. We haven't been used to that level officially. Well, I mean, like I said, I booked online. I went there, and I spent less than 20 minutes in a place that had seats for 300 people, and they had, I think, 25 booths to issue license, 25 people there to issue license. And I walked in. I got my number. I was called moments later. I went up to the reception. There was like 30 tables there. I went and sat down. They got dividers. You sit down. They got a divider here so you can talk to the person. She said, "You were here for your license?" I gave her the application that I printed out. Said she didn't need it because it was on the computer. Too bad. I gave it to her anyway. And she said, "Okay, I need your Ohio license." I gave her my Ohio license and then surrendered it. And then she said, "They'll call you." And they called me a few minutes later, about 5 minutes later, after I sat down. And I went over, I sat down, and I signed a piece of paper because I didn't have to take a driving test because I did it within the requisite time. And they issued me a driver's license, took my photograph right there, and I registered to vote. And they gave me a voter card. It came in the mail a few days after that. And no muss, no fuss. Piece of cake. The place I drove was 20 minutes from my house. And only 20 minutes because after I drive along the river, there's much traffic lights, robots. If it hadn't been for that, I'd have been there in 10 minutes. Yep. Yeah. Well, I was probably out within 15 minutes. I'm embellishing, but 20 minutes is my recollection. And for the renewal, I didn't even go in. I just, when I had to renew this, in fact, when do I have to renew it this year? Let me see, when do I have to renew this? This is the second time I'm renewing it. So this thing expires next year, I think. Yeah, I didn't even have to go in for the renewal. Yep. So, but mine expires in December of next year. Yeah, it was in 2022. So that's the second one. I got the first one in 2019, but I got cheated because it was too close to my birthday, so I lost that whole year because I got it in November. This one I got in October of 2022, so it lasted for 4 years. Yep. So, yep. So it's got organ donor on here. It's got veteran on here. And it also has my driver's license, all my pertinent information, how sexy I am. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, piece of cake. So, yep. If the law was repealed, what's this? Companies must comply with a law that was repealed in 1991 for being too racist. Now in 2005, companies must abide by it. Well, they're, yeah. All fresh now, cut. Does it feel good? I didn't lose much weight. No. It's chillier, that's for sure. But I mean, this is what my hair normally is like. It's usually this short. I mean, that's how I've almost had it for years. So, waited 9 months for my little piece of plastic driver's license. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a failed state. That's a country that's broken, a country that's incompetent, a country that people don't want to live in. That's what that is. Yeah, and again here, so what should happen in South Africa is you shouldn't have a national driver's license. It should be issued by the province. The province should be responsible for that. That's how it should work, or at least, anyway, so. Yes, you're correct, Alex. That's, I don't know now, but 40 years ago, Ohio gave you a paper license that came in the mail. Pennsylvania, you get your license in your hand before you walk out the door. It's awesome. It's awesome. I also, when I had to transfer my cars over, I tried to go to the state Vehicle Bureau, which is along the Susquehanna River, and I went there and I walked in. I pulled a ticket and it was like walking into freaking white trash and black ghetto heaven, and it was like, oh my gosh, what is that? So I was like, screw this, I'm not waiting here, because I sat there for like 20 minutes. I left. I went to the local car dealership, which is a big Ford dealer, and I said, hey, do you guys have any idea how I can transfer my cars? I need to get them registered. And the lady said, oh, well, typically people get their cars registered when they buy them. I said, yeah, but I already own them. I'm in the military. I'm getting out. She said, oh, you're in the Army? I said, yeah. She said, well, I can help you with that. And she did. And from big car dealership, and I gave them paperwork for both my vehicles, and they took care of it. And since then, in order to renew my vehicles, all I do is do it online. It takes less than 5 minutes. I can renew it for 1 year or 2 years. The only thing I have to do beyond that is the vehicles have to be inspected every year for safety. And you go to a local shop, which is authorized, and you pay $40 or $60, and your car gets inspected. If it passes, you're good. They put a sticker in the car; it's good for a year, and your registration is good for up to 2 years. So I have never had to deal with the Motor Vehicle Administration ever again since, and I didn't have to do with them all. I mean, look, Pennsylvania has some problems, but not when it comes to that stuff. Track Park Tuesday, renew my license, was told to not do renewals on Tuesdays, only Wednesdays. What kind of moron does that? 2 months, yep. Would love a federal system in South Africa so provinces can compete against each other on these taxes, laws, and each province like be running their own little country, yep. Well, that's nice, Joe, $15, but you got a lot of oil revenue. Pennsylvania has been harmed by the Biden regime. It's stopping our fracking and lying to people about the hazards and dangers of fracking. And so a lot of money we should be making in energy is not coming out of the ground right now. And we're being punished for it because these morons like Josh Shapiro signed us up for RGGI, the Regional Greenhouse Initiative. Yeah. Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, RGGI. It's asinine. So we have to pay taxes for carbon because we're producing the energy. Guess where our electricity goes? Frickin' Connecticut, Massachusetts, yeah, and New York. They get our energy. They don't pay the taxes. We do because we're polluting. But we're polluting because they're using our energy. You see how stupid that is? So Pennsylvanians are the morons who pay the taxes for scumbags in New England who are getting our energy, and we pay more energy than they do. It's ridiculous. But this is an agreement that the state of Pennsylvania signed up to because leftists made the decision. They're all done in Columbus now. Oh, really? Okay. No, when I got my driver's license, where did I take my driver's license test at? In Ohio. I took my driving test in New Lexington, which is where I went to high school. And wait. No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. No, I took it in Athens. That's what it was because I didn't have a driver's license in Ohio until after I went back to college in '89. That's right, I didn't have one. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Yeah, I took my driver's test, but it was just a written test. I didn't have to take a driving test because I already had a driver's license. And they gave me an Ohio driver's license, and I got it pretty quickly. I don't remember how I got it, if it came in the mail. But I did it in Athens. Athens is where I got my driver's license, first one issued. And then the renewal I just did every year. I use my mother's address, and so I don't have the Ohio driver's license anymore because they confiscated it when they gave me the Pennsylvania one. Yes, I know, Nathaniel Edward Brown, there's one machine in South Africa, and it's a German machine. And the South African government is a bunch of idiots. Flooding in Washington, Snoqualmie Falls on the river, same name as flowing at 45 cubic feet per second. 45,000. Niagara's 85,000, so it's half Niagara. That's crazy. Well, I bet it's tough for a salmon run, huh? You bet you can't get upstream when that happens. Energy infrastructure can barely support 1% growth. It will take a decade to upgrade to something that can support continuous 5%. You desperately need 8% per year. Is Momo here? Wow, where the hell has Momo been? There's another person we think passed away because we don't see him. I don't see Momo. Oh, there's Momo. Went to Tembisi yesterday to renew my card. It took 5 minutes. It was refreshing. Well, that is refreshing. Thank goodness you didn't need the hospital at Tembisa. Oh, wow. I do think there could be dangers in over fracking states close to the ocean. No. If you understand how fracking is done, it's not an issue. Not an issue. You don't watch Michael Moore's propaganda. Yeah, South Africa is absurd, and it's because the ANC runs things. They just run things in the ground. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, the big news tonight was the seizure of this tanker. Pretty interesting stuff there. Anyway, I'm starving. I had something to eat earlier, but it wasn't enough. Oh, you've been there all the time, a silent witness. That sounds like a Hollywood movie. What about the bromance last night between Trump and Secretary Scott Bessent? Secretary Bessent's like, hey, look at him. He's a handsome fellow. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's a really sexy looking guy. You know, right out of Central Casting. I'm like, dude, get a room. Get a Trump, get a room. He's in love with Scott Bessent. You know, and Scott Bessent's openly gay. So I'm like, yeah, advances in fracking have actually benefited the development of better geothermal energy. Indeed, correct. The geothermal energy is very advanced in Iceland, but even our fracking has improved that capability. Yep. Because of the way you encase things and go down to hit the right place. Yep. Hey, Leonie, what's up? The cancer is directing companies to apply for a repeal law to classify their workforce for compliance with the Employment Equity Act. They want a 1951 racist law, so the ANC is the National Party reincarnated. I mean, you know, the legacy of the National Party is theirs. They did merge with them in 1990s. Remember that? They tried to blame that on the DA. Look, I'll attack the DA for the dumb things it does, but I'll also defend it for the truth. And the DA is not the offspring of. There was a brief effort for the new National Party to link up with the DA, but it never took root, and they went to the ANC. Al Gore is a brain-dead scumbag, and we dodged a bullet with him. We dodged a bullet with Kamala Harris. We dodged a bullet with him. We did not dodge a bullet with Barack or with Bill Clinton or with Obama, all of whom were disastrous presidents. Yep. That's the truth there. Absolutely the truth. Rebecca, good morning to you. Thank you. Is here. What's up? Well, Joe, Texas, you can call it apartheid state all you want. I mean, the fact that they are putting a piece of legislation in place that means that people must give 3% of their post-tax profits to black entrepreneurs is a racist state. That's separate development. If you're black, you get the benefit from this money free of charge, which is taken from other people regardless of what their ethnicity is. No, that's an apartheid state. Yeah. Wet and chilly morning, nasty thunderstorms. Yeah, it's for a desert country, you're getting a lot of rain this year. All right. Karen von Vijk, welcome to you. No, fracking is a very advanced, amazing thing. And because of that, we wound up with being able to mine deep shale oil, which was great, deep oil and shale oil, which is fantastic. Peter Talyard, what's up? We'll never benefit from fracking on the ANC. No, but you could do fracking in the Karoo. I have to have an uncomfortable talk with my employer. They short me for January. As an introvert, I have confrontation. I have no idea what you're getting at. Going to Cape Town for 6 days. Well, safe journey there. Still be careful down there. The old South Africa even do that? Take money from one race and give it to another? Yes, they did. Yes, they did, faithful farmer. They did. The so-called Bantustans were all funded by South African taxpayers. They took money from whites to give to blacks. Of course, that's not how the racists will depict it, but that's the truth. They also took land from everybody, from blacks, from whites, and they gave land to the Bantustans. So a lot of white farmers living in Northwest Province had to surrender their land for the creation of Bophuthatswana under Lucas Mangope. And most of those farmers were compensated with land in KwaZulu-Natal, and they relocated there, but not all. Yep. Yes, so they did. In fact, that's something they did. You're procrastinating. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, where are we at here? So I can show you a picture of what that ship looks like, but it looks like any other tanker, so I don't think you're going to be impressed, but I'll give you a picture of it. What'd you guys think of this? I made this earlier using artificial intelligence. I thought it's pretty good. The directions I gave were fantastic. So this is the AI image that came with for my video I did earlier today announcing that we had seized the ship. Check it out, man. So I told it to put, told it what the name of the oil tanker was. And then I said I want 2 Black Hawks with people rappelling out of one. That's actually fast roping. That's not rappelling. Yeah, that's not, so that's not rappelling, but close enough. Yeah, and they put a U.S. cruiser in the background, and they actually put Venezuela on the oil tanker, but it's fine. That's pretty cool, huh? No, it's not that I like the Coke. It's just that I'm not drinking Starbucks right now. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. That was AI generated. That's pretty darn good, actually. That's one of the ones I'm most happy with. It did exactly what I told it to do. 174 people currently here. Be sure to hit the like button. We calculated BE&B compliance, place additional 12% on my firms. We lose 8% potential growth. We could have achieved so much more if we were allowed to. Yep. As this, and you won't have to answer to your question. With 145 race-based laws, it's more laws than at the height of apartheid. Yes, it's true. Kathleen DeClerc, thank you for your subscription. Spell check fudged up my sentences. Well, that's why I couldn't understand it. That's why I couldn't understand it. Yeah, so I made that. Now, here is the ship that's had 3 different names in the past 3 years. This is the one that's flying falsely flying the Guyana flag. This is the Skipper, which was illegally transiting the Caribbean. Yep. That's the one. Of course, it looks like any other oil tanker for the most part. That is the ship. Now in the possession of the U.S. Coast Guard. Confiscated. Ooh. Wow. Well, thank you for your membership. Ocular smile. That's an ocular smile and eye smile. That's pretty interesting. Yep. Kathy Price, welcome to you. Charles Van Alton, the Voice of Reason, shows up. I have people getting out of bed, waking up here on a Thursday morning for folks in South Africa. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Got a busy week here. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, folks, here on my program, we'll have Matt De Beer, a South African refugee who's living in Massachusetts, recently arrived. And several people contacted me and said they'd like to come on recently. So we're trying to work all that out. Danica being one of them. Had my own driving school for 25 years. The corruption side is off the charts. Scary statistic. 80% of drivers had paid to pass. I don't doubt that at all. Well, thank you, Kathy. It's very kind of you. Interest rates came down in the U.S. yesterday. Yes, down to 3.75 and 3.5%, which means my savings accounts can take a hit. But if it juices the economy, I'm good with that. ANC are so lazy they didn't bother to come up with a new law. They just used the law created and then repealed during apartheid. Exactly right, Charles. So pathetic. So pathetic. Yes, the apartheid state of... And so meanwhile, they run around saying all the things about South Africa are lies, but they just expose themselves every day. Excuse me. Oh, yikes. Yeah, it looks like any other ship in the high seas, any other oil tanker, that is. Excuse me, I can show you what it looks like from above, from a satellite photograph. This is a ship in a satellite photograph. The Skipper. And you would like, how do you know that's a Skipper? Well, I do know. That is the Skipper from above. That oil tanker. Yep. White are more oppressed in economics than this. Hey, Del Murray. Yeah, the ANC is lazy. They bring their racism right from the National Party. They don't even create it on their own. Anyway. Yep. So Project X, as I said that they're shipping pets over. Don't know what's going on, but this is what they claim. Here's the first 2 pets. They've got more apparently on this one. So, yes, Loretta, there'll be rugby this weekend. Yes, and hopefully it'll go better than last weekend. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm going to hold my breath. Yeah, we've got games this weekend. Not on Friday though. So let's take a look at what we got lined up for this weekend. All right, so let me go to EPCR. EPCR. There's some tough games this weekend for South African sides. Okay. All right, so Stormers play Stade Rochelet. That's going to be tough. Saturday, 8 o'clock. Fixtures and results. Get the Challenge Cup open. Okay, so... All right, so round 2 Cheetahs play Saturday at 8 o'clock. I can't cover that because I'm covering the Stormers game. They play Stade Francais, and they're playing NRCA Stadium, which is in Amsterdam, which is technically the Cheetahs' home pitch for the Challenge Cup. So the teams will have to fly to South Africa, which is unfair. Newcastle plays the Lions at Kingston Park in Newcastle at 12:30 on Saturday. And that takes care of the 2 Challenge Cup games. In the Champions Cup games, we've got that's last week. I didn't go to the right place. Okay, here we go. Come on, get down there. Okay, so the Stormers are hosting Stade Rochelet, but they're not at DHL Greenpoint Stadium. They're at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium in Port Elizabeth. So they'll be there. That's going to be a tough one for them. Then the Sharks, that's at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, my time. At 10:15, the Sharks are at Saracens. They're going to get slaughtered. Saracens is at Hollywood Bets Park. So that's a home game for the Sharks to look bad. And then the Bulls play, I think, on Sunday. Let me take a look here. Round 2. The Bulls play Sunday at 10:15. So, yeah. I think I set up with Danica if she's able to do Sunday at 9 o'clock for our Ref G interview. Yeah, so that's the games for this weekend. 5 of them. So I'll be doing games on Saturday and Sunday. But I can only do 4 games. Can't find original taste Coca-Cola. They're only stocking from the original less sugar. Ugh, that's terrible. Okay, Vimpy Cohn has to get ready for work. Okay. Trump launched. Yes, I've got that. I was going to cover that. So where's that at? I think it's here. Oh, where's it at? Come on, I have this thing here somewhere. There it is. Yep. Okay. So the Trump gold card. So it appeared in the New York Times. They covered it. And then I've got the actual website. So if you want to sign up for the gold card, you got lots and lots of money. And it ain't about the money, money. We don't care about. What is it? It's about the music, man. It's not about the money. All right, so here we go. Trump card. There it is. Trump administration opens the $1 million visas. To apply for the card, people have to pay a non-refundable $15,000 processing fee, and then they wait for their visa, and they have to invest $1 million upon receipt. Give $1 million. The Trump Gold Card. Business can apply for the corporate Gold Card to sponsor employees. That's $15,000 processing plus $2 million for each employee approved for the card. Wow. Now, the Platinum Card is coming up. It'll allow foreign visitors to ride in the United States for up to 207 days each year without being subject to taxes on income earned abroad. Foreign nationals approved for the card will have to pay $5 million in addition to $15,000 processing fee. But here is the Trump Card website. TrumpCard.gov, the Trump Gold Card. Unlock life in America. Official website. Yeah, look at that Trump Gold Card. Trump Gold Card. The Trump Platinum Card is coming soon. Opportunity is accelerated for America. Submit your application, care of consideration, approval. They can invest in America, and we can continue to build the greatest economy on earth. Donald Trump. What is a Trump Gold Card? Corporate card, legal classification, qualifies. Can family members apply? Can your status be? Is a visa, therefore, national security and significant criminal risk are a basis for revocation. Okay, how long does the process take? Should take weeks. Why is there a waiting list for the Platinum Card, and why should applicants apply now? Okay, so there you go. Let's go back up here. Let's apply. Choose your card. Individual Trump Gold Card. There you go. Put your name in there, fill it out. Yep, and that's all it takes, and you can get onto the program. It doesn't take much. The Trump Gold Card. What is this not receiving enough data? What's going on here? Oh. Now they're going to tell me not to get enough data. Well, definitely not moving very fast. Test. Let's do this. Well, I'm getting good download. No, they're not citizens, Idaho. They can't vote. They're not citizens. Well, yeah, the Chinese, that's the concern. They can disapprove them. Okay, so my download speed is down to 600 megabytes per second. That's lame. It's supposed to be a gigabyte. Uh-oh, my upload speed. Huh. What is it?